You're most welcome to Health and Beauty program live on Google Data Vision here at Makerfro Gospel Church in Sapro Kagwa Road with me, Kamara Daniel. And of course, this is the only way to prevent yourself from getting such diseases. Most men in Uganda here are reported to be barren. I must say that. And of course, all this burden is attributed to women. You know, in our current society here, in African setting, men are not supposed to be barren. The myth or the misconception. But yes, every person is at a risk of being barren or being impotent. I can say that. Tonight on the Health and Beauty program, we'll be joined by Dr. Elisa Rumara. He's a specialist who's going to discuss with us this topic into depth of his knowledge and expertise. And of course, we'll be diving into your questions, opinions, and commentaries on social media. And of course, we ask you to be very attentive, alert, so that you can benefit from his expertise. Dr. Elisha.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Kamara, for welcoming me here. And good evening to all the viewers. I'm very glad to be here. I'm called Lumala Elisa. I'm a specialist. I'm an obstetrician and gynecologist.
Thank you so much for coming through on Google Data Vision.
You're welcome.
Where do you practice from?
Yes, so I work with Marseille Hospital in Wakiso. I work with St. Francis Hospital in Mukono, and also work with One World Health.
Okay.
Yes.
How do you balance all those duties? We shall come back to that discussion. And of course, our viewers tonight are very much interested in male infertility. You know, doctor, is it called male infertility, barrenness, impotency? What does that specifically talk about?
Yeah, we can actually use all those words to mean one thing, depending on what somebody prefers to use. But the common word should be infertility. Yes.
So now my question will run to you once again.
Yes.
What are some of the few statistics that we can base on? And we want, of course, to know, is being impotent related to race, culture? Because if I'm a white, for example, I'm a white and you're, you're an African, what is the statistical difference?
Okay, thank you very much. To start with, I would actually define infertility. Infertility is the inability of a couple to conceive after 1 year of regular unprotected sexual intercourse. You could note that I'm using a couple. So that means this problem, it is not an individual problem. To say that it is a man or it is a woman, but it is a couple. So if a couple is having that regular sexual intercourse, and by regular, we mean that a couple is having sexual intercourse at least 3 times in a week. And then they spend a year.
Those are the minimum?
Yes, that is the minimum.
At least those want to go do 7.
That is still okay.
That is their own. Depending on the energy and whatever.
Exactly, that's fine. But for us, we want at least 3 times in a week. Okay. And that's very important because you'll find that sometimes a woman may come to you, or a couple may come to you and say, oh, we are failing to conceive. But you find that the man or the husband is a long distance traveler. Will travel and then come back and come once in 2 months. And then these people can spend even 3 years without conceiving, but in actual sense, you find that there isn't any problem. And also we talk about that the period of 1 year, because I have seen couples come, and you know, in our society especially, people attribute, for example, a wedding. After a wedding, the next thing the society is expecting, the families are expecting, is a child. So that sometimes creates unnecessary pressure. So you will find that after 3 months, a couple is coming to you. They're telling you, we are unable to conceive. We have been 3 months wedded, but we don't have a child. And then through the talk,
short.
Exactly, it's too short. But because of that external pressure coming in, so after a long talk, you discuss.
Is it the reason why now men marry women who are already pregnant?
Yeah, and you see, I also hear those things in our society. You know, somebody will say, oh, okay.
I can't wed the person who's not pregnant.
And then some people say, I have to first know the person I want to take. That's why sometimes they will say, before maybe I go to your parents, before we get wedded,
You must show a sign.
you must show a sign. But
You said a very important point when you said regular unprotected.
Exactly.
Regular, you said 3 times a week.
Exactly,
minimum.
yes.
Very important for us now.
Yes. So there we shall say, oh, after 1 year, we say, okay, there's an element of infertility. Okay. Now, I know we are going to dwell more on the male, but to begin with, this is a problem, as I said, of both the men and the women. So research shows that actually, from the causes, 40% they are attributed to the women, 40% are attributed to the men, and 10% is attributed to both. You find that both the man and the woman
contributes 5-5.
Yes, there is a problem. And then the remaining 10% is actually what we call unexplained infertility. The couple comes, you do all the tests, but you can't find the cause. But they have been more than a year, or they've been 2 years, they're unable to conceive. So that's unexplained infertility. The only good thing for that last part is that such couples, actually, if you give them an extra year, about 20% of them will conceive without doing anything.
Okay.
And if you added them 3 years, it will reach actually up to 50% of them being able to conceive without doing anything. But of course, sometimes that patience may not be there. And what we do, even when we've not found a cause, still we start on treatment, depending on how the couple has presented. So we'd start. So that is the infertility. But the definition. But also, this infertility is divided into 2. There are 2 types. We have what we call primary infertility and secondary infertility. Now, primary infertility, we talk of a couple that has never had any child before. And secondary infertility, we talk of a couple that has had a child before, 1 or 2 or 3, but now they desire to have another child, but it has taken them that time, more than a year or 2 years, without conceiving. So that is secondary infertility. And actually, you realize from some studies that have been done within here and outside, you realize that this secondary infertility actually tends to be higher, the percentages, than the primary infertility. And of course, for obvious reasons, because as maybe we shall look at the causes later, you realize that many of these causes, they are actually preventable. And it's from our environment, from what we do, you know, that they can be prevented. So that's why you see that the secondary infertility, you know, the percentages tend to be higher. Actually, in Uganda, the studies that they have done, they say that primary infertility may be between 1 to 2%.
So I want to get something clear.
Yes.
Primary infertility is when a person or a couple has never been pregnant. So I say the person.
Yes, the couple.
Now, for secondary,
Yes.
what if a person has gotten an abortion? Is that regarded as a pregnancy? Is it in secondary? What if a person has gotten like 3 abortions?
Yes.
Where does it lie? It doesn't have any child.
Yes, very good. So if a couple has conceived before, and even if it ends in an abortion, that's already a sign that these people are fertile. That's already a sign these people are fertile. So we cannot classify them as infertile. Yes. So we shall count that as a pregnancy, because we said they are unable to conceive. So even when you get a miscarriage, you conceived.
Okay.
Yes. And now what you've talked of, they have had maybe recurrent miscarriages. Now that's also another condition. There's a condition we call recurrent pregnancy loss. That's another condition, and it has its causes. So you find these couples, they are fertile, but because of some conditions, because of some problems, then the woman is always losing these pregnancies. Okay. And also those ones, we have a different way we approach them.
Wow. Thank you so much, Dr. Elisa. For viewers who have just joined us, we are still talking about the infertility in general at start, because we want to know where does this problem lie, because remember, it is a couple. It is not me, it is not you, but it is me and you. Now, of course, I want to talk about what are some of these risk factors to male infertility mostly. And of course, you can entertain them to make the risk factors into the causes, conjoin them so that we can learn together at once.
Okay. Thank you very much. So risk factors or causes, as you've said, we shall take it as one for the benefit of our viewers. And let me say, okay, the causes. So there are quite a number of causes for this male infertility. And one of them is actually these infections that we suffer from as men or even as women. But specifically, we talk of sexually transmitted infections. These infections can affect the reproductive system of a man. These infections can affect, there is a tube that actually transports a man's sperms from the testes upwards to come out.
To the outside.
Yes, it's called the vas deferens. So these infections can go and block that tube. And that means the sperms are unable to come out, and the person will be unable to make a woman pregnant. So those infections. But
what are some of those infections?
yes, thank you very much. So these sexually transmitted
Let's
infections.
give the most common.
Yes, most common ones is gonorrhea and chlamydia. Those ones are very common. So, but there are some other infections. Infections like mumps. Mumps, it used to affect.
What is mumps in Uganda?
Amambuluga. Amambuluga.
Mumps seasonal.
Exactly.
In Runyanko, it's called amashuyu.
That one, you see, is very dangerous. Very dangerous because it affects the children, but later it can have a long-time effect on their fertility because it affects them when they are young, but that virus, once it enters, it is, inborn. It is airborne, just like you may see COVID. So the child can inhale it and what? And then when it goes in, it has a preference for going to the testes down there.
So for children who have suffered mumps before at a risk of developing infertility in the long run.
Exactly. That's why if it comes, it needs to be handled well. A child is treated well so that they do not get that problem as a complication. So it can affect them, and that one, of course, will affect the factory where these sperms are made. It affects it and either reduce them so much later in life, or they will not have at all. So those are infections. Others, including TB, tuberculosis. It comes, goes into the lungs, but from the lungs, it moves through the bloodstream, and it can go to that part down there. So that is one of the causes, infections. Now, the other causes, there's what we call varicocele. When we talk of varicocele, in a man's testes, there are some blood vessels. Okay, those blood vessels, of course, take blood, bring blood out, but especially those that take the blood out, they have things we call valves. They are like gates, so that when blood moves out, it doesn't flow back. It moves out, they close. It moves out, they close. It doesn't flow back. But now, it can be congenital or an inborn problem, that a man is born and does not have those valves in there. Okay. So what will happen is that the blood will keep accumulating in that area. And when blood accumulates, the temperature rises. As you know, that blood is what transmits or takes our body temperature all around. So when the temperature rises, then the factory is affected, because that factory works at a specific temperature, at about 34 degrees Celsius. That's what it wants. Our body temperature is 37 degrees Celsius. So for it, it wants a temperature which is lower. And now when there's that blood not moving out, the temperature is going to rise higher, and the factory will be affected. The process will not go on, the process of forming those sperms. So that can result into infertility.
Does the external environment also increase the temperatures?
Yes, definitely. It will increase the temperatures. And that's why the lifestyle of us, the men, how we live, is going to be very important. For example, if you wear pants, you wear a very tight pant, you add on another short and another short. I've seen those men, they have like 4 or 5 pants on them, that means the temperature is going to change. And when that temperature changes, and this is not a one-day thing or 1 month, it is going to be a process. So imagine a young man at around 17 years, 18 years, that's his lifestyle. He's always wearing those pants. So that means later on when he starts and what, he may be having a problem.
Okay.
Yes. So what you were saying, that the external temperature. But now, other causes, we have what we call congenital, or they are inborn. And some of these include what we call undescended testes. Undescended testes means
What does that mean?
A boy is born, the baby is born without the testes in their sac. The sac is there, what we call the scrotum. But when you touch it, there are no testes. Yes, and that can happen for various reasons, including maybe when some babies are born preterm, because that process of these testes come from the abdomen when the baby is still in the mother's womb. So they come, they move downwards, they descend around 7 months there. So imagine if a baby is born before that time, then they can have such a problem. And others can be related to genetics and other problems during the pregnancy. So if a boy is born without those testes, that means the process cannot go on. If they remain inside, as we said, the temperature is very high. That means they are going to die. And when they die, actually, later on, they can even turn into cancers. So that's why it's very important that when a baby is born, baby is a boy, as the mother is bathing the baby, it is important the mother can touch down there to feel, does my son have those things there? Those testes, are they there? Because if you find they are not there, and then you go and see a doctor when it is still early, they can do surgery on that baby. Maybe when it's 1 year, 2 years, they can do surgery, and they bring them out. So when they bring them out, everything continues well. So, but if it is discovered later, maybe a child is 15 years, 16 years, he finds out, I do not have the testes, say, now it will be very late.
Dr. Romara,
yes,
let's
please.
focus on these lifestyle changes that can cause male infertility in Uganda. But before that, what do you think is the cause of the overall reduction in in the general population fertility, according to the statistics?
Okay.
And so that now we can focus on the lifestyle that is serious, including the wearing of 5 pants. I have never heard of this.
Yeah, but yeah, it is there. So, but actually still the research shows that for the last 50 years, the sperm count has reduced by 50% in the last 50 years. You can now imagine.
That means in the next 50 years.
Yeah, I don't know what will be happening, but you see, that's what is happening. And this is largely contributed to lifestyle and environment, because some of these other things have not changed much, but the lifestyle, our environment has changed a lot, and this has greatly impacted our fertility. So you were talking of the lifestyle. Actually, obesity. And you know that obesity, omugejo, thank you very much. And you are always teaching us about these things. Obesity, it will basically come from our lifestyle, how we are eating, and whether we are exercising or not. And now that obesity, and you see obesity, it's really very, very bad, because you know that it has it's a risk factor to many other diseases. But imagine it also comes to affect fertility.
How does that come?
Yeah, so if a man is obese, that means he has a lot of fat accumulation. Now, that fat accumulation causes what we call insulin resistance. That hormone, insulin, it helps to regulate our blood sugar, so that even if you took 15 bottles of soda. If your insulin is very well, after 1 hour or 2 hours, we shall check your blood sugar and it is okay. But if your insulin is not working well, even 1 bottle is enough to shoot your blood sugar to go up. So when there is that insulin resistance, there is going to be a rise in what we call androgens. It is a general term for example, testosterone. I will use that because testosterone is the male hormone. That's what we have. It's the one which makes us men, testosterone. So if it rises very high, that means it has gone out of its range. This whole process of what we call spermatogenesis, or formation of sperms, it has to work on everything regulated. As I said, the temperature is regulated, but also the hormones have to be regulated. And the hormones start all the way from the brain. There are some hormones which come from there. And those hormones, they come and communicate with the testes down. And then when they communicate, for example, they can say, oh, this side down, we are not well. Can you send more? Then when they send more, then that hormone, testosterone, they secrete it more. And that's the hormone which helps with that process of sperm formation, sperm formation, sperm formation. But now, if it rises very high from this, what we've said, because of the increased fat, that means it sends a message back to the brain and tells it, don't worry, for us this way we're okay. Yet in actual sense, it's not coming from the testes, but somewhere else, in the body, as I've said. For us this way, we're okay.
Do not send.
Do not send. And when you don't send that hormone, that means the process there is going to be stunned. Thank you very much. It is either going to slow down or it will not continue. So that is the effect of obesity. And that's how it's going to affect the man's fertility.
I was thinking otherwise, actually. I was thinking because this person is really obese, as long as your BMI is beyond the threshold, also meeting the minimum exercise that we talked about for 3 times a week can also be actually achieved.
Very well. It can actually contribute to that.
I was thinking like a local person.
But that is also right. So from the science bit, but this one, it will also be, because imagine somebody is very fat, really, trying to go there, and sometimes they can lose interest and all those things. So they say, I'm tired and all that. So it can also contribute to that.
Wow. What are some of the last lifestyle behaviors that could risk men to infertility before we go for a short quick break?
Yeah, so we've talked of obesity, but alcohol. Taking alcohol, yes.
Most men purport is to make them high.
Yeah, and you see, every time I move somewhere and I talk about alcohol, people say, please leave our alcohol alone, But alcohol, as we know that besides other diseases, so many other diseases it can lead to, alcohol also affects a man's fertility. As we know, when you take alcohol, it goes to the brain. So when it goes to the brain, and we've already said, there is a communication between the brain and down there, where the process takes place.
Because the body is one.
Exactly, the body is one. So when you take alcohol, it is going to affect the production of those hormones, what we call follicular stimulating hormone, luteinizing hormone. Those are the hormones which come from the brain downwards to send message. And in the same way, if they are reduced, they are not coming very well down, what does it mean? It means down they are not receiving sufficient messages. That means even the other hormone, testosterone, is not going to be released. And that means the process of sperm formation is going to be affected. That means it will drastically reduce. You see, the process can be ongoing, but for us, we have a target. For example, we say that for a man, in every meal of what we call the semen, that water, there should be at least 15 million sperms. Yes, 15 million. So if, for example, a man has released maybe 3 meals, that means 3 times 15, 40 million sperms, 45. So it means for you, if you are releasing, and then what is coming is only 5 million because you are taking alcohol and it is affecting the process. You are releasing 5 million. It will lead you to infertility because not all these sperms
are viable.
Exactly, are viable. Majority of them actually, when they are moving, others are on their own things. For example, yeah, if you've attended this MTN marathon or Kabaka's birthday run, people gather there, so many. Others are holding sodas.
Others very far. I went to run and I was the third last.
Oh, wow. But you tried. You tried. Yeah. So, but when you go there are those people who are targeted because they put gifts, awards.
Yes.
There are those people who are after winning. I want to run and I win.
But
there are those people who have come to pass time. Now, when they
participate, but things refuse.
Exactly. Now, when the race starts and they meet a friend who is somewhere off the road, it doesn't stop them from branching. They branch and then they say, oh, how are you doing? As others are going.
They take pictures.
Exactly. They take selfies, they post, they can even first see it. So that's how some of those sperms behave. Once they enter the reproductive tract.
Some are not fully entered the same.
Exactly. Some just keep on diversing. Some keep a focus.
Dr. Rumara, this discussion is very, very important. And for our viewers, we encourage you to visit our social media platforms, LinkedIn, Google Data Vision Uganda, Twitter or X, Google Data Vision Uganda, TikTok, YouTube, Google Data Vision Uganda. And of course, we go for a short quick break, but when we return, we shall exhaust some of the lifestyle behaviors that are predisposement to male infertility, and then we shall go to prevention and treatment strategies. Do not leave Google Data Vision Uganda.
Good Day TV, transforming your life. Good Day TV, transforming your life.
Once again, you're most welcome to Good Data Vision Health and Beauty Program. I am Kamara Daniel. And of course, I'm still having Dr. Rumara, an gynecologist and an obstetrician. But we are focusing more tonight on male infertility. So far, we've explored very many risk factors, including alcoholism, wearing very many pants, like 5 of them or 3, or maybe 2 that are too tight, increasing the heat, and so much more. And also obesity, or being extremely big for your age, for your height, when they're not matching, could also actually predispose you to male infertility, and very many other more physiological factors. And of course, now doctor is going to explore more 2 of them, or more 3, so that we can see how best to prevent ourselves, and then we'll go to treatments available.
Yeah, but so thank you very much, Mr. Kamara. And continuing to look at lifestyle, but these gadgets that we use actually, the laptops as people, those also produce a lot of heat, a lot of radiations. And surprisingly, when I see many people or many men, when they are using them, especially out of office, they are putting them on their laps. Just close.
You're speaking to me.
You see? Just close to where the factory is. And that's where a lot of heat is coming out from them, a lot of radiations are coming out from them, and now it is affecting the process down there. And as I said, this thing may not be a one-time thing. No, it is going to be a process. So imagine somebody who is using a laptop for 10 years, and that is the kind of life he's living. That means it is going to affect him in one way or another. So, and now, smoking, the use of these drugs, whether marijuana, these cigarettes,
Shisha,
Shisha.
About vaping. It's too common.
Exactly. Those things, that smoke, the ingredients there, which are contained there, nicotine and the rest. Once they are taken in, they will move through the body and they will end up in the factory, what I'm calling the factory, or the testes, and they are going to affect the process of formation of those sperms. So those are they contain very dangerous ingredients. So smokers are also at a very high risk of infertility as men.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Dr. Elisha. And of course, there's a common behavior you are neglecting, maybe you're forgetting about. I can remind you. And of course, the masturbation part of it. Most young people.
Okay.
Does it bring male infertility?
Okay.
It is a cross-the question, unless you have some remarks about it.
Okay. So masturbation. Actually, you find really majority of the boys and the men have really done this practice at one time or the other. But if you look at actual research, it will tell you that this practice, actually, it shouldn't be incriminated that somebody has done masturbation. No. Actually, you'll find that on the general surface, it is a good thing. It may only be bad when it becomes like an addiction. But if somebody does it once in a while and maybe those the sperms are released and out and what, it's not a bad thing. Because the beauty here is that once they go out, as I said, that the process of sperm formation, for it keeps on and keeps on and keeps on. Now, the other thing may be what masturbation may do, especially if it has come as an addiction, and somebody overdoes it, especially, whether they are married or not, it can somehow maybe reduce this person's sexual desire, what we call the loss of libido. And if that desire goes away, if you're a man and a woman, again, you are not going to fulfill what we said, that you are supposed to be meeting or having sexual intercourse at least 3 times in a week. So you find somebody, they're meeting once, and then since somebody is doing masturbation, sometimes they feel that self-satisfaction. And then they say, okay, 2 weeks, they go, 3 weeks, something like that. So that way, indirectly, it may result into infertility. But for it as...
Because the mind is corrupted.
Exactly. But for it, just as a practice, actually, as I said, it can be a good thing once in a while if they are doing it.
Wow. Thank you so much, Dr. Rumara. Your expertise is really inspiring me. Should I go back to school to study medicine again? I live in nutrition. I'm not going to do that. It's inspiring me to do that. But of course now, for men who are watching us live on Google Data Vision, we want to be strict on you. And why we specified men tonight is because women have been over-talked about. You are the problem, you are the problem. Some women actually chased out of families. And of course, all this brings gender-based violence and a lot of saga that happens in the community. And of course, now we want to look into the treatment modalities. But before going to treatment modalities, let's begin with prevention. Because 75% of Ugandan conditions or diseases are preventable.
Yes, thank you very much. And actually, something small before we go to the prevention.
Please do.
You see, in our society, that incrimination of the women, we actually even see it in the hospital when when these women come because of infertility. Actually, most of the people I see, they are the women coming first. Ideally, you are supposed to come as a couple.
As a couple, because the problem is for the two people.
Exactly. But you see the women come in first, a few come as a couple. And recently I was seeing a couple. But what was so interesting, after talking through everything, and then we said, now we need to do the test. So I say, for the woman, we need to do the test. But also,
the man
for you, sir, we have to do the test. So what this gentleman told me, said, doctor, for me, don't worry. Just check this one here. So I'm like, okay, why should I check only this one? So I insisted the second time, doctor, don't worry. Let's first start with this one, and then maybe for me later, but for me, don't worry. Then later, of course, I interpreted what he was trying to communicate to me. Because in our society, especially, what happens is if a man sees, we are not getting children, it's 1 year, 2 years, what they will do, many of them, they will go behind. They will go behind and look out for someone else. And before you know it, this person is pregnant. And then she's telling him, this is your pregnancy. And then gives birth. So he said, I have a child there. So this is actually what this man was trying to tell me, that for me, I have my children somewhere, but it is this one who is not what? Giving birth. And, you know, surprisingly, or unfortunately, is that you may be relying on those children when actually they are not also yours. So that's why I insist that both of them should have the tests done, and then we find out.
For transparency purposes.
Exactly.
For God's sake, if you go together, why would you want me to be done? You are not done.
Exactly. Yeah, but you know also the society issues and now the men and all that. And of course, the woman will just have to accept. But to come back to what you are asking, the prevention. As we've said, many of these things, they are from the environment, they are from our lifestyle. And that means they can be preventable. For example, what we talked about, infections. The good thing is that some of these diseases like mumps, vaccines have come, and children are getting immunized.
They used to say if you laugh at a person with a mump and you'd get them.
Yeah, of course, they used to tell us that when we were
And we would not laugh.
But I think those were, you know, society issues and what to keep us, yeah, but not really that from science. Yeah, but so the immunization has come to vaccinate some of these diseases. But now, like, for example, sexually transmitted diseases, surely, if a man is not going to be faithful, say, to their wife, and maybe they have another wife somewhere else, or not even a wife, but just somebody they meet, my advice would be at least you have a protection with you. You carry a condom, you have a condom, so that, okay, much as you've gone there for your own reasons, you do not pick an STI from there, and then you take it home. Because when you take it home, you now take it to your wife.
How about being faithful?
Exactly, that would be the best. But surely, if you live in our society, you realize that those who are practicing
You're
that...
the only one who is faithful.
Exactly, they are really, really very low. So that is one of preventing this infertility. But as we talked about the lifestyle, the obesity, that means your lifestyle of both the diet and exercise matters a lot. So besides eating these greens for your health, they have a lot of role they play in the process of sperm formation. They contain antioxidants, you know, as Mr. Kamara may confirm.
The vitamin E.
Exactly, they contain vitamin E. Now, foods like pumpkins, they contain zinc, and zinc is very, very key in the formation of sperms. So that means those pumpkins are good. So diet plays a very big role.
We're talking about snacking this month, and we're telling men who should snack on nuts and seeds. Very many nuts and seeds in the supermarkets, but men still want to eat chocolates. They want cookies. They want these cones, these sugar products.
Exactly.
And all these do not motivate a man.
Exactly. Full of sugars, just...
I grew up at home when they would actually cook a pumpkin. They would remove the seeds and prepare them for our dad. I used to see like and I used not to know the function.
Now that is the function. So that's why you can see now all of you are around. So that's the function. So the diet is very key. But coming to exercise really, you know, when people, for example, physicians are talking about diseases like hypertension, diseases like diabetes, they're going to tell you exercise.
So much.
But now, for us also, we are coming for the fertility issues, we are saying, do exercise. So you can see that exercise is just therapy for almost everything.
It's multifactorial.
It's multifactorial, the way you've said. And it is not a difficult thing, but it just requires a culture, somebody to develop that culture, that habit in them. And you start slowly. Do this exercise. First of all, you're going to cut the weight. You're going to avoid diseases like diabetes, which are also a very big risk for infertility. So you've prevented all those. And now your whole body is just, you know, in a good shape to function well. What we said, that excess weight may not be there. So I encourage people, do exercises. I encourage men, do exercises. And exercises, as many other people have said, it doesn't require you to be having money. Yes, the gyms are good, but go there if you can afford.
How about sauna, doctor? Everyone is running to sauna.
So sauna. And that has been, of course, a subject that of contention here and there.
Of national importance.
Yeah, I've been to saunas myself. Nowadays, I don't get a lot of time to go to the gym and the saunas, but I do the exercises, running and everything. So saunas also have, there's heat there. But surprisingly, when you read research around, because I've read research around, you actually don't find them as, people who go to saunas, they are likely to become infertile. What you find there is that if maybe this person is going there so regularly and spending long hours in that heat, because even when at one point this process is interrupted a bit, it can still resume. It can still resume. That is the beauty with the man. Unlike the woman, that for them, their whole process is about age. It is age dependent. When a woman gets 35 years, continuing upwards, now what we call the ovarian reserve or the ovaries, the eggs there, they begin to reduce drastically, age 35 and above. For a man, the process just continuing. So if somebody is going there regularly, really, it may not have a lot of big effect on their process of sperm formation and fertility. Yes.
Wow. Let's run to the treatment strategies. We've really learned a lot. Let's go to the treatment strategies available.
Yeah. So,
at your facility, maybe at your consultation.
Yeah, so the treatment strategies, as I said, so when the person comes, we've seen them, we've heard the story, we've done the tests, and we know maybe this is the cause. They're still going to be dependent on the cause. So we say maybe we find that those tubes I talked about, the vas deferens, they are blocked. And when they are blocked, that means the approach there is going to be surgery. Yes, surgery can be done there, and they can be corrected. We have specialists who call urologists. Actually, those are the doctors that specialize in that area, that field for the men. So they can do the surgery and they correct them. But actually, to start with, it was what I was saying, the lifestyle. If you do that alone, we shall also tell you to do. Do the exercise, change the way you are eating. It's number one, because you are not going to be, for example, trying to treat you for infertility, and for you in the evening, you're always going to take alcohol. No. So part of the first treatment, stop alcohol. By all means, stop smoking if you've been smoking, as we continue doing our own things. So those things, that is part of the treatment. Now, for example, we may find through our tests, maybe hormones are a problem. Maybe they are low and everything. They are not balancing well. There are still medications that we can give you to help boost your what? Your hormones. Okay. If your sperm count is low, because for the men, when we are trying to do investigations, we have what we call a semen analysis. That analysis is where we look at these sperms. How are they? What is what we call the pH? What is their shape? Because it's not just about how many are they, but how are they? How are they moving? Because even if you have enough, but those that are moving straight, they are very few. Because we say that maybe like over 30%, they should be moving in a straight line, because those are the ones which are going to meet the egg. But you find that this one is branching. The way I told you about those athletes or people who have gone for a marathon. People are running and then these ones are branching off. But also we want to see their shape, because not all of them have a good shape. But the beauty there, we just want like 4% of them, what we call morphology. At least 4%, they have a good morphology.
That's enough.
Yes, that's enough. The head is there well, because the sperm has a head, it has a tail, they are good. That is good enough. But anything less, it will not be a good thing. As I said initially, the number. If, for example, you've collected for us 2 mils of that semen, for us, we want to see that in every mil there is at least 15 million. Now, anything less, it will again inform us on what we want to do in terms of the management. So if we find maybe the quantity is really so low, that means to do naturally, it may be hard.
Okay.
That's when we come in with some artificial intervention. And right now we have what we call IVF, or in vitro fertilization. And this has helped so many people, so many people. This has been here in the world for over 4 decades, because actually the first IVF baby called Louise Brown, she was born in the UK. That's about 47 years ago. I think that was 1978. That was the first one. And then later other countries, US and what followed up. But it was through that process of IVF, whereby we find the man's sperms are really too low, and they cannot be able to achieve a natural fertility. So what do? We get them. We get the woman's egg, and we do it in the lab. So we allow the sperm to meet the egg, and the process of fertilization goes on. So after a few days, then we take back the embryo there.
To the uterus.
Yes, to the uterus. And then it begins to grow. It begins to grow. It's a whole process. And of course, sometimes it will really require some money, to have some money. But at least even that in Uganda here, I think it's been there for over 20 years. And it has helped so many people. Because really you'll find, we've not talked about the women, but you'll find that the factors that maybe the woman has, we've done everything, but we cannot achieve a natural pregnancy. And then we have to go through this process. The beauty of this process is that even when we talk about age for the women, 35 years and above, it has even helped to beat that now.
Wow.
That yes, a woman at 50 years
They
can
can
have a
deliver.
child through that process.
Age is just a number.
At that factor, at that point now it will be just a number.
Doctor, as we intend to come to the closure of this important program, we want, of course, to thank you for sharing your expertise with us here at Good Television Health and Beauty program. And of course, thank our viewers for being good viewers, good listeners. And we know that this information is basically preventable. We usually tell you that whatever you hear here, go and start practicing it. Now, Dr. Rumara, kindly give us your last conclusive remarks about this important program of male infertility rising in Uganda.
Yes. Thank you very much, Mr. Kamara, and for this very important topic, because as you said, really it has been put on the women, that is the women who are infertile, but now we see that the chances are 40% for the men and 40% for the women. But what I have to say is that actually this problem or this disease of infertility, it is not just a medical condition, but it is really a personal journey that these couples tend to walk. And this actually not only affects the couple, but it affects their immediate families and it affects society. It causes not only that, because of the medical conditions, it causes a lot of social problems, psychological problems. It can result into depression. It can result into marital conflicts. We've been here 6 years, now you're not giving me a child. And that's what sometimes a man may be telling a woman. And the love in the family may go away. But what I have to say is that that is not the end of the journey. It's not the end of the journey. What I encourage people is that seek medical help early. If you see it is 1 year, you are together as a couple, you don't have a child, run to a gynecologist. Visit them, and they start on the tests earlier. Because now, the longer this problem goes, it gets more complicated. But if it is captured early, tests are done early, treatment is done early, then that means we can easily, achieve a pregnancy and you will have a child.
Okay.
Yes.
What's your call to government about this condition?
My call to government is to increase this awareness. Because now when you look at, besides Kampala here, when you go to the communities, it is even worse. Because now at least people are getting sensitized. But in the communities, it is worse. So government, I just request government to increase sensitization about this. And now this treatment as well. So because when you talk of some of these drugs that are used, for treatment, if we go to the natural processes, they are a little bit expensive. But if government can come in to help set up some of these centers in different regions, they are really going at, and they are giving people services at a cheaper cost. It is really going to help a lot in our country.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Dr. Rumara Edisa. Do you have any greetings to your people?
Yeah, of course. And first of all is my dear wife, most beautiful woman I know in this world. She's called Maria Grace Rumala. I love her so much. I know she's watching. And my daughter, Sarah, she's still very young, but I love them so much. So I send them regards to the rest of my friends, Dr. Kale, Dr. Sergo, and the rest of the people. I really love them so much. My relatives, my brother James, and the rest. I send my regards.
Thank you so much, Dr. Rumara. Greetings to your family also. And of course, we'd like to thank you for watching Good Day Television Health and Beauty program from the time we started till the closure. We want to thank you and inspire you to join our social media platforms, Twitter or LinkedIn, TikTok, YouTube, Google Day Television Uganda, so that we can learn together. You can always learn new information from our social media platforms, also including the Christian lifestyle that can inspire you to salvation. I am Kamara Daniel. I hope to see you next Wednesday. Bye-bye.
Good Day TV, transforming your life.
Light of the world, you step down into darkness.
You see, the design is that you are a vessel. You need a SIM card to operate. A bag of potential. But except the SIM card is inserted, is only calculator and torchlight that will be working. Your ultimate purpose will be neglected. And most of you have built your life on things that are departures from your ultimate purpose. The moment you insert the SIM card of the Holy Ghost into your vessel, you become compatible with heaven's network. You can pick things happening in the layer of God. It was Jesus that said that, not me. In the book of John chapter 3. Turn your Bible. Turn your Bible. Because with this issue of announcements, 90% of the people in this hall, it's been long since you heard an announcement. There was a man of the Pharisees named Nicodemus, a ruler of the Jews. The same came to Jesus by night and said unto him, Rabbi, we know that thou art a teacher come from God, for no man can do these miracles that thou doest except God be with him. Jesus answered and said unto him, Verily, verily, I say unto thee, except a man be born again, he cannot see the kingdom of God. So the kingdom of God is a layer of civilization, a layer of reality, but you will need to be born again before you can peep into that layer of civilization. The layer of civilization exists, but you'll be cut off from it permanently, perpetually, until you become born again. And when you become born again, the Holy Ghost is inserted into your spirit man. And the implication is that it gives you awareness of what is happening in the layer of God. Do you understand that?
Light of the world, you step down into darkness.
He has given me victory.
Hello, ladies. McCareful Gospel Church Ladies Ministry presents the Ladies Outing at Joggers Recreation Center, happening on the 9th October. Come ready to have fun in activities like swimming, ziplining, boat riding, and many more. All this will be at 50K, including breakfast and lunch. For more information, contact or WhatsApp Becky Karahuma on the number 075 0001236. Please come and have fun on the 9th of October.
My eyes have seen the glory of the living God.
The annual Men's Convention and Business Expo is on 9th October 2025 from 8 a.m. Themed Men Who Are Overcomers. From June 3 verse 16 at Mr. and Mrs. Mwenge's residence, Gayaza. Come ready to hear from Pastor Fred Guantante, Mr. Casidio William, Mr. Musigwa Laban, Pastor Joseph Sasangar, and many more. Come showcase your products or business that very day at 70K. For booking and details, contact Shannon Maseruka, Team Leader Men's Ministry on 0774 697 454 or 0702 792 864. The annual Men's Convention and Business Expo, 9th October 2025.
Pastor Twina Habati akutusako Ayama Wonder Worship Concert. Rugogo Hockey Grounds nga 17 mwezi guno gwe 10/2/2025 tugenda kuba mu kusinza nga bwe tukowola omwoyo awerekeddwa k'abasinzi okuva ebweru w'eggwanga nga Bebe Nkululi n'abasinzi abalala nkomuleto okuyingira emitwalo 2, emitwalo 5 ate nga ba VIP ba mitwalo 25 y'emmeeza ya miliyoni 2. Big Twist Bako Chibati Tours and Travel destined for greatness. Katino nga 17 mwezi guno gwe 10 tosubwa okusinza mu Ayama Wonder Worship Concert ne Pastor Twina Habad.
Join Pastor Brian Luega for the Yazirwana concert live at the Kampala Serena Hotel on the 10th of October 2025. Gates open at 6 p.m. His music has touched your heart. Now come and be part of this powerful night of worship. Early bird tickets are only 150,000 Uganda shillings, and a table of 8 goes for 3.5 million shillings. Get yours today at carrytickets.com or call 0765 587 225. Come, let's blossom together in the goodness of God. Brought to you by
Tosubwa ku Google TV.
Abagalwa abalungi, erinnya lya Mukama waffe Yesu Kristo lyebazibwe nnyo. Mbalamusizaako. Amannya gange nze Kasozi Robert Cephas. Mbanjulira programu ennungi mwogenda okuyita okusisinkana Kristo, okwate ku bisuubizo, osumululwe, owangule, eyitibwa You Can Be Delivered. Ngekutusibwako obuweereza obwa Raising David's Tabernacle Ministries wano ku Google TV. Buli lwa Sande okutandika essaawa 5 ez'ekiro, n'olwokusatu okutandika essaawa 3 ez'akawungeezi tugendanga kubeera wamu. Oludde mu bulwadde, olinayo ebintu byonna ebikutawaanya wadde nga walokoka, olinayo ebintu ebyo nga obisabidde naye nga bigaanyi, oba nsonga ya birooto ng'ebirooto bikufuukidde ebirooto tobitegeera, ogezezzaako eno n'eno. Programu eno egenda kubeeramu essuubi, ekyokuddamu, okuwangula, okubotola mu maka, mirimu n'ebirala bingi. Kale nkusaba onneegatteko wano ku Google TV. Akaseera ako kagenda kuba kakusumululwa. Nkulinze, Mukama akutuweera omukisa. Tosubwa programu eno.
Programu eno You Can Be Delivered, osobola okusumululwa. YCD ekutuusibwako obuweereza bwa Raising David's Tabernacle Ministries RDTM. tugenderera okuyimusa ejje erisinza Katonda mu mwoyo ne mu mazima, okutwala Kristo eri emitima gy'abantu n'okukuteekateeka ku lw'okudda kwa Mukama waffe Yesu Kristo. Twegatteko leero era gwe ayagala okwogerako n'omusumba, kusabirwa, kuwabulwa, bibuuzo oba ensonga endala yonna, yita ku 0782-92-92-63 oba 0702-82-92-63 eri ne ku WhatsApp. Tugoberere ku mikutu gyaffe ejja social media: WhatsApp, YouTube, Telegram, Facebook, TikTok, X. Mulinnya You Can Be Delivered.
Mukwano gwange yonna gy'osinzidde okubeera ng'otulaba oli ku Google TV, kwanirizaako nnyo nate mu programu yaffe ey'olwaleero You Can Be Delivered. Osobola okusumululwa olunaku kasatu tuuka nga lwakusatu, ssaawa zibeera 3 paka ssaawa